2012, right? But then they just kind of nothing, right? Well, no. Here's what they did. Our Earth is halfway out from the center of the Milky Way, 26,000 light years. It's 26,000 miles light. It's 26,000 years to make one.
The great year.
That's the great year. Okay. Now, if you go to the Bible, you're going to add two things to that: 7 years of sorrow, 7 years of tribulation. The 7 years of tribulation, one of the most highly detailed timelines ever. All right. What do you get when you get 7 and 7? 14, right? What do you add that when you add that to 2012? 2026.
2026.
What happens when you deduct 2,000 years from 2026?
So,
You get 26 AD. What happens when you deduct 30 years from that?
trying to follow. Keep going.
September 11th, 4 BC, that's when Christ was born.
Oh, wow.
That was an Adar 2 year. Okay? Now there's an event that happens once every 12 years there in the sky. There's a thing called there is when over Jerusalem is Leo, the king constellation. There's 3 stars underneath Leo. Three lights. One of them's Regulus, Latin for the king star, and then the other one's Jupiter. And then the one in between, I don't remember what it is, but Jupiter, the king planet. We 3 kings of Orient are travelers. Okay, they come together, and once every 12 years, that one goes into retrograde. That was September 11, 2012, over Jerusalem. Not over here, over there. Okay? All right. Now you go forward to 26 AD. This is when Christ was 30. This is when he got the keys. Everybody thinks that when he was born. When he was born is when he got the keys. Then you go forward 2,000 years, 2026 AD, because you know he's coming back at 2026 AD. It's not him coming back. He comes back 42 months before. The guy that's sitting on the throne comes back. The guy on the white horse, which is Christ, Lord of Lords, King of Kings, he comes on a white horse 42 months before and prepares the way for he who sits on the throne. He takes the book out of the right hand. This all sounds like some crazy Avatar game, if you ask me. But I'm telling you, that book, start to finish, I can tell you when Noah walked out of his freaking ark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2316 BC. Walked out of his ark.
Well, I think the Bible symbolically reflects like 3 different a movement through like 3 or 4 different ages. Whenever Moses comes down off Sinai and sees him worshiping the bull calf, it's Taurus the bull. Moses is Jew. He blows the ram's horn. Upon entering the new age, you must shed the old age. He's the Aries. Aries the ram.
Yep.
So after Aries the ram, he meets 2 fish. Jesus, the supposed birth date is the beginning of the age of Pisces. Jesus is the 2 fish, the Pisces, the Jesus fish. And then he says, I will be with you even to the end of the age. There you're going to go to a city and you'll meet a man bearing a pitcher of water. Who's the man pouring out a bucket of water? Aquarius. That's where we're at now.
But Jesus,
that's what reflects through 4 different ages right there in the Bible.
Jesus is not, from my, first of all, the difference between me and every other eschatologist out there, and none of them know this, is I connect every single day. They'll connect 4 or 5, but then they're off on all this other crap. You have to connect every one of them.
I think Leo the Lion was 35,000 years ago whenever the Leo constellation was sitting
Well, let me tell you
the
what...
Sphinx, rather. I think the Sphinx was just a reference to Leo the Lion 35,000 years ago.
Well, let me tell you what happened in the Great Year. When the Great Year comes around, there's the horse, Sagittarius. He's got a bow, right? Now, the story behind Sagittarius is not a horse with a man horse. It's a great bowman who's on the horse. Just across from it, just across from it is Scorpio. Yes.
That's me.
Okay. And Scorpio killed who's the guy that has the cape? Orion. Okay. And so. Sorry. Okay, so here they are, in the Great Year, one from the other, and when the Great Year occurs, there's another constellation that shows up. It's Ophiuchus, and Ophiuchus is known as the serpent bearer.
Really?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer.
You know,
It only happens once every 26,000 years.
very interested in serpents because the caduceus. Hermes had the caduceus on every old esoteric. You see the caduceus. And that
Okay,
is
so let me
serpents.
share you something.
Comes that.
So let me go back to Christ for a minute, because what you're going to do of all the formulas on all the planet and all the religions and all the philosophy of man, you're going to look at them all, you're going to weigh them all, and you're going to find out who has the best answer. Okay, now I went through all of that, and I of course was raised a Christian, but I damn sure didn't think it was going to be Jesus Christ that ended up with the right story, because I was with the Sumerians and all this other crap. I'm doing it all. But I came back to
Watched
Christ,
3
and
hours of
then
Buddha the other day.
yeah, well, I tell you, Buddha falls way short if you put the entire checklist of happiness together, because that's at the end of the day, dude. That's what we're trying to do here, is be happy. Okay. Now, if you take Christ, September 11th, the Jews calculate their conception date by 9 of their months. From the day they're born, they take 9 of their months, and they consider that the conception date. Well, if it's Adar 1 year, non-leap year, is 30 days. 9 times 7, 270. But if it's leap year, is 29 times 9. Okay? Well, if you do that, guess what day that is?
What is it?
December 25th.
Oh yeah.
But you have to add 1 day, because it's leap year, it's December 26th.
See, here's
26 is the answer to this whole story, right? We don't sell anything, right, Brad? No, we're business guys. All this other stuff is love and is free. But 26 is the key. So, out from the world, 26,000 light years, 1 year around, 26,000 years. The Earth is 26,000 miles around at its equator. Okay? 26 AD is when Christ was given the keys to heaven and hell. 4 BC is when he was born. You go back to December 26th of 5 BC. That's when he was conceived, right? And it's all numbers. And everywhere you see the number, there was another thing. Christ was born at the meridian of time. So it's not 7,000 years, it's 8,000 years. And you have to look at Revelations to realize that as soon as the millennium's over, Satan, the serpent, is released again for a half a time, which is half a time is half of whatever time they're talking about. They're talking about 1,000 years is 500 years. But half of that time, so it means it's 8,000 years, which puts him at the direct meridian of time, exactly like they said he was, okay? And when you look at all this stuff, it says at the end, the wise shall know. And I'll give you one that you can look up on your computer. The Daniel prophecy, chapter 12, says he gives 3.
I'm listening.
Yeah, he gives 3. What do you call it? Prophecies that go to this date. But one of them says, from the second proclamation of rebuilding the temple, okay, when the road and the wall is built, not the temple, the road and the wall, go forth 70 years of 7. In the Jewish time, that means 490 years. 70 years times 7, 490 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no record anywhere in anybody except Wikipedia. Right?
Yeah.
So if you go to 2026 and you think that that's the date, only way to find out is go back 490 years, see if that happened. Because that'll address it in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You guess what you find?
What is it?
Freaking Suleiman Magnificent, a Muslim leader, loved his Jewish accountant, just like Artaxerxes loved his Jewish accountant at the same period of time back prior. Okay? Yeah. This pretty smart, man. Wow, anybody on with this? Really? Hey man, it's cool. So what time is it? 1 o'clock?
Just after 1 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, 80 miles. 80 miles. We got another 33 miles to go. Okay, so where was I at with this? Where was I at with that?
You're talking about the.
Oh, the 490. So you go back.
Yeah, the 490.
And you'll
back,
go on the internet and do a search. What happened 490 years from 2026? It's got to be 490 years. It can't be 491. It can't be 492. Still, they built the road in the wall. And you can go on Google Earth and go check it out. The name of the road around the wall is Suleiman Road. Suleiman, not Solomon. Suleiman Road. And the wall is built, and that's the name of the road.
The Wailing
And you
Wall.
would not know that unless it was the last days.
Oh wow,
Is that crazy?
that's nuts.
And I can tell you,
I have some different theories on how I think. I think the Bible is pretty much an encyclopedia of all the other religions combined. I think the Bible conveniently takes 2 or 3 different ideas and mold it into one. What I've been reading a lot lately were all the Dead Sea Scroll books and the Apocryphal writings.
yeah, I read all those. Did you read the Nag Hammadi
Do what?
scriptures? You read the Nag Hammadi scriptures?
No.
There's no man touched them. They were in about 1947, I believe, or 67. They were found no man touched them, right? Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Jesus, Gospel of Mary, Gospel of all these Gospels. So I read all that crap, right? Because, but it's and not just theirs, the Quran and all of them, right? And when I realized there was only one guy that had the right story and the rest were pretenders. See, opposition, if you take the word opposer and then take the OP off, poser, there's poser. He says many will come in his name. Well, guess who has his exact same story on December 25th?
Oh shit, Mithra of Persia, Addis of Phrygia.
The god of Isis
And
and Horus, god of Horus,
Yeah.
all December 25th.
I know why. Because on December 25th, the sun is at its lowest point. It starts out in Virgo, the Virgin constellation, and it falls down. And on December 25th, it'll stay there for 1 degree. And from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, it falls under the Crux constellation and stays there for 3 degrees. And then it rises 1 degree, foreshadowing longer days, and everything. Stays there for 3 days, and then it rises back up and off the Crux hemisphere, and goes directly back up. In fact, Virgo literally translates that out there. House of bread, virgin holding the sheep of wheat, literally translates to Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Fucking astrology in the sky.
Yeah, well, I can tell you.
3 kings. If you look at it, Orion's belt, the 3 kings.
It's not Orion's belt. It's Leo, Regulus, and Jupiter, the king planet, the king star, and the king constellation. Those are the 3 kings.
Well, they follow Sirius, the star, to December 25th.
A lot of people.
Every single year.
A lot of
go up and look at it. It's straight. Orion's belt, Sirius, the sun sets, and on December 25th.
Well, I'll give you another example.
The death of the sun.
The
It rises back up.
the what do you call it?
It's astropsychology.
Yeah, that's right. But the Magi, they weren't the kings. It says he's in the song,
It never
for
says
example.
kings. It says 3 wise men anyway.
No, the song says we 3 kings of Orient are. They're talking about those 3 kings. But what's the remember the Saturday Sunday effect I told you about? What's the name of Jesus Christ? What's one name for him?
Shit.
Daystar. How about Satan? Remember when he's going up in Ezekiel, up in the heavens, screwing with man? And God says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says, "Man, I'm having a good time here, giving hell to people." He's called the morning star. He's the first white horse. Jesus Christ is the second white horse. There's the lamb. He's the lamb with the nubby horns. It just, wherever it is, there is an exact replica of opposition. Thrust, drag, lift, weight, everywhere. It's just numerical.
See, I think it's all anthropomorphized. I think it's all ideas that exist in the psyche. I think that there are genetic manipulators that come down and fuck with the life that's already on here. The Sumerian texts, let's say that. I think that I look at Asians, I'm like, okay, black people didn't evolve from that. It's going to take a lot longer than what they say we've been here for black people to evolve from Asians back and forth, and for us in general. I think there was all kinds of things already here. I think God, you know what 2 words on every page of the Bible? God and love. I think God is polarity. I think, and as a singular consciousness, let's say before the Big Bang, he had to create a reference point outside himself. So as far as quantum physics goes, everything is a vibration. We're only
Wait. Let's talk about quantum, because that's a big area of mine in the math. So what in quantum mechanics, okay, and the mathematics shows us that what created the universe was a thing called dark matter. And you know what activated it?
Do what?
All scientists agree that a cubic foot of dark matter was activated and created this universe, and they all agree that one thing activated it. You know what that was?
What?
Light. They all agree on that today.
Light, right?
Okay.
Lucifer, the electron. The electron hits the neutron and the proton.
Light.
It becomes
In the
that's
the
function.
first Genesis, verse 3 says, and God said, "Let there be light." So whoever the creator is said, "Let there be light." Boom. Now we go out. Now he talks about 3 times: celestial, terrestrial, and celestial time zones. Right? In the Bible, right? Well, if you check out light. This is how we measure everything. Everything is a measure of light. Everything. There's two red shifts that occur, which explains dinosaurs and every other thing. There's God's time, there's the creation time, and then there's man's time. Boom, boom, boom.
I think time is simply the amount of energy it takes to process a neuron. I think if everything is a vibration and we're decoding the vibration, turning it into light, processing it, sending out the signal, and the reason it makes it physical is because I got nerves sending.
There's a guy that you would really love to listen to. You would really appreciate his thinking. His name's Tom Campbell. He's a PhD quantum mechanics physicist, but he's tied it all. He's freaking brilliant. Is he not brilliant? He's brilliant.
I think it's literally like all in our heads. We're just decoding the vibration.
Well, he says we're just.
I think God. This is how I see it. God, soul, love, spirit, Satan, electron, light, the negativity. God had to create a reference point outside of this point, and we are the receptors that experience. Because I don't believe that God gives two shits if we do right or wrong. I think we are the creators. We're judging ourselves. We're creating this as we go along. Simply, as far as God goes, He simply wants to experience. If He is consciousness that somehow expanded Himself, then He's got a hand in everything. Somehow, if there's a grid, I don't know if it's a grid. I've heard people call it different things. I think He's polarity, positive and negative. You have to have one without the other. You cannot know can't know happiness without sadness.
Right,
it's all relevant in the eyes of the God that is love.
I think that the Bible. I would call that the law of opposition. That's the first law that governs everything.
Yeah.
If there's not opposition,
the greatest
it
gift
doesn't.
God ever gave Himself was relativity. I mean, if I know I'm the shit and nobody's around for me to know that I'm the shit, the only way for me to figure out experientially what I am is to create a reference point outside myself. If God's a consciousness, somehow the electron came along and that's what manifests.
In a sentence, what would you say God's purpose was? In a sentence, what would you say God's purpose was?
God's purpose is to know Himself experientially.
Okay, and so what's your purpose?
As a receptor to, basically, I'm sucking. My purpose is to, I don't know, there's a hierarchy here, because the foundation of everything I believe in is reincarnation. Energy can't be created or destroyed, it can only be transferred. Maybe the only thing that makes one person an old soul as opposed to another person a young soul is simply the amount of incarnations they've had here or somewhere else. I don't know how big.
So how do you think the world's doing with that?
But I think I'm evolving spiritually. Everything I do, as nice as I can be to everybody, I'm just working on myself. I'm working on me on the inside to evolve spiritually, because I do believe that there's a bigger game that exists a lot longer than this little tiny blip on the radar screen that I am here on this life and this physical planet. And there's got to be a reason why, what makes I got such a great family. I got so lucky, and I see the girl that I was talking to earlier. Her fucking father molested her, and homeschooled Mormon. She never had a chance.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
What was her father's name?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Is he from around here?
No. This is South Dakota.
Oh yeah.
Or South Carolina.
See, my wife, when I married her, her daughter was molested for 3 years by her father.
Dude,
before they caught it. That's sick.
Every girl has a rape story. This freaks me the fuck out. Every single girl I've talked to. Oh, by the way, I was molested. Oh, by the way, I was raped. I was like, really? There's so many guys out here just raping and molesting people? Because every single
be shot,
girl
right? Yeah.
will say that, including one of them just started seeing the other day.
Yeah.
Really. And it's really hard for me to be compassionate because I hear it every single time with every single girl, and every single girl I know has a story. So whenever the girl tells me, like, I used to be like, oh, it's terrible, shoulder. Now I'm all like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Heard that one before. Not saying that it ain't legitimate, but I've heard it so much, it's kind of dulled me about it, which is terrible.
Yeah. So, so you plan on getting married someday?
Yeah, I always did. I just haven't.
Think you might have kids someday?
I always thought I would by now, but I always.
But you thought about it, right?
I focused on one girl, and it might not have been the best decision. I don't know. I am who I am because of her, because of the craziness and everything. And I would not be as enlightened. I wasn't like this 5 years ago. I just woke up. She left me and everything, and I lost my job and everything come crashing down. I pretty much thought I had a purpose, and I realized that wasn't a purpose. So I was pretty much ready to die.
So I'm with you there.
All of a sudden, it just changed. Everything I just let it all go, and I don't give a shit anymore. It's like I didn't get what I want. I didn't get my picket fence and the girl that I wanted and whatever. As far as the way I would have wrote the script 10 years ago, that didn't happen. So at this point, I don't really care. Everything's out the window. I just be nice, happy, have as much fun as I can, and whatever happens, happens. Yeah. I'm okay with everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, the way I believe in God, there is no good, there is no bad. I mean,
So,
essentially,
on that one point, because I got a lot of people that say that. So a 3-year-old girl that's stolen, raped continually for 11 years, and they finally find her, you know, in a dungeon somewhere in some guy's house. That's not evil to you at all?
Oh no, it certainly is. But I believe as souls that we decided what we're going to do long before we got here. I think the outcomes have already been determined. Our only choice of love and fear is how we're dancing through this thing. Every person you meet it has a message or an answer for you of what you got to do for your own personal self. And I
So,
think that,
but you know, when you get to this point of evil, right? So I would tell you this, and it's just my ideas, right? There's two kinds of people: good and honorable people, bad and dishonorable people. Now, fortunately, there's spectrums in each side of those. The bad and dishonorable, they don't give a shit what you think or what I think. They're going to take and do whatever they want. There's 3 kinds of those: ignorant, immature, and just badass evil. What that means is there's some that aren't very good at it. They're just stupid.
I chalk those up to being incarnate.
And then there's some that are pretty good, and there's some that's excellent. Okay? Then I think that's about probably 3 out of 10. Then I think you can go up the other way, and you'll find a whole bunch of spectrum of people that are good people, they're just not very good at it. Right?
Yeah.
All right. But over there, that's just pure ass evil. And over here, it's just pure ass excellence. That's awesome. Right? But you can't have this one without that one because, like you said, quantum mechanics, the spin's immediate. There's not even time there.
Every positive, there's a negative.
That's right. That's right.
They
But
both have to exist.
But they both have to exist. So saying that there's not this one or that one, I would just say, if you've seen the pain that I've seen in my life, then you say, I don't know, but let's go ahead and call that evil, like a picnic table. You know, we could call this a picnic table if we want, as long as we all 3 agree.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All right, somebody rapes the shit out of 3 little girls, you know, and keeps them in a prison like that guy did. I'm just using that for an example.
I agree.
Dude, I'm going to call that evil. And I don't want to call it a barbecue package.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's some pretty twisted evil shit out there.
Yeah, there's some pretty bad stuff. So once you understand that opposition rule and its duality, thanks to quantum mechanics, right? Once you understand that, then you can start getting the checklist for it. Because happy can be defined. Technical, tactical equals practical. The car's technical, the driver's tactical, together's practical. Right? Here's the airplane's technical, the pilot's tactical, together's practical. The body's technical, the mind, the spirit, if you want to call it that, is tactical, together's practical. It can go somewhere. In an airplane, I use it for a flight plan. In my life, I use it for a life plan. And what I want for my plan on my life, well, I'd like to be happy. Probably going to fall short a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and define happy technically. It's a chemical organization of thought and act that allows me to get the endorphins I want without doing drugs or other stupid stuff. Okay? So I'm going to use self-discipline to do that. What Christ called that charity. Not easily provoked, never seek your own, never prideful, puffed up, or belong to thyself, long-suffering, never evil, never envious, always kind, never act unseemly. Unseemly covers a multitude of stupid stuff. Bad jokes, whatever it is. You know, there's a lot of ways to be unseemly. And those 8 gates of self-discipline make you a better person, whoever you are. When you throw those down, don't use those, you become a selfish person. So you live in 4 states. There's 2 rewards, and there's 2 states.
But as a piece of the divine creator, that is your right. That is your birthright to make that choice, good or bad. That is your choice.
Well, first of all, you just use something I think is fun. It's always fun for me when somebody says it. This says divine. What does that mean to you, divine?
A piece of the prime creator. A piece of the grid. Somehow we're all connected. We'll call it the pineal gland.
Let me ask you a question.
If a computer doesn't...
Do you love your mother and father?
Of course.
If you had kids, you'd love them.
Of course. I love everyone.
Where did your parents come from? Their parents, right?
Yeah.
Everything's in a series of families. If I were to jump outside of time, then this God's not some God. He's actually my family, because He says it over and over. Jesus says, "I'm your brother." He says, "That's my dad, and we're heirs."
We're
blah,
talking
blah,
about an
blah.
anthropomorphized human figure.
But
That's
again,
what I think God
I know,
is
but
not.
just say whatever it is. I'm just saying everything is a pattern of families. So if I see the pattern everywhere is the pattern, and it's always in families. You go in, probably part of a family. Okay? Now, just a side note, my mother, who's passed away, on the year of her anniversary, she came and visited me in a dream, and she wasn't in the dream. She was real. It was the craziest thing I ever saw in my life. I was in this dream. It was about 5:30 in the morning. I'd woke up once, and I just kind of went back to sleep. And there's this dream going on, kind of like this world we're in here right now. And then all of a sudden, my mother walks up. She's in an enlightened state, not even anything like the rest of that dream. And I went, I knew this was nothing like I'd ever seen her. And it was 1 year to the date of her death, right? 1 year, okay? And I didn't know that. My little sister told me in the morning and says, "Can you believe it's been 1 year since Mom passed away?" And I went, "You're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you." So we had a quick discussion. We didn't talk. But I knew everything she told me. She says it's way bigger than I think it is. But I could see that my mother was there. And she was talking to somebody, I think it was my father, because she said, "Just a moment, I'll be there." My father's gone too, so I don't know what that meant, but I can tell you it's as real, more real than the three of us talking here.
Well, I'm an experienced lucid dreaming. I'm a narcoleptic. I keep medicine to keep myself awake, so I've always danced on barely asleep, barely awake.
Yeah.
And I started reading books a long time ago. Conscious Mind, Sleeping Body, how to consciously. Now it turned into a fucking sleep disorders where I got false awakenings, or if I pass out, you guys will still be sitting there talking and everything, and I don't even know that I've fallen asleep. Like when I'm awake, I had to actually get medication because it was happening on the road. When I'm awake, I obviously know that I'm awake, but when I'm asleep, I don't know if I'm asleep or awake. Because my brain will construct a dream. Or I always joke to people, I said all access VIP pass to the astral plane, because I can literally just roll out myself, see myself still sleeping, and be like, "Okay, time to fly, boom, gone."
Okay, so check this out.
Personal virtual reality.
Yeah, but if you want to know the science behind it, go to this Tom Campbell, PhD, YouTube, watch his videos. He will explain all of that.
I've read so many books, man. I got a handle on that weird ass shit. But the funny thing is as paranormal and as weird as it is, other things and entities that you'll meet on this so-called astral plane has made me absolutely unafraid of nothing in real life. Like people, weird ass creepy people that come in here in the middle of the night are kind of suspicious looking. Doesn't even bother me anymore. I'm not afraid of anything because of my weird paranormal.
Well, but it's you're another guy would say that you've probably been accused of having ADD before, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
That is also my that is also my deal. And so I've learned through a whole bunch of things to organize it and work with it. But I jokingly says that's because I can add stuff up faster than other people.
Yeah, it's because you know what it is. It's and people a lot of times talk about focus, and I don't think I ever had an ADD problem. My mom says I have an adult ADD problem, but I just got to keep moving. And it's always been because I've always been on the verge of always falling asleep. I told the doctor, I was all like, I gotta have something. I was all like, she's like, you need to see a neurosurgeon, figure out why you can't stay awake for more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I was all like, okay, yeah, you're right, but I can't exist out in the real world until you give me something that can keep me awake all day long. She's like, okay, well, here's some Adderall. I've been taking Adderall. Even though I don't think I mean, it might help with the focus thing. I know that there is a difference.
Yeah.
My heart beats 1,000 miles an hour. I don't take it.
Well, let me tell you something that you can replace Adderall with.
Smoking cigarettes like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you need to quit that crap, dude. That ain't good for you. But I can tell you, you might want to try this. And I think I got one in my bag out there. But I was telling my son, I'm not going to do Adderall or any of that BS. So, but he said, "Well, Dad, have you tried this?" This is my son. He's your age, and I can't remember the name of it. It's out there in my bag, but I did, and it doesn't require a doctor or any other damn thing to get it. Yeah. Let's see, what's it called? Yeah, well, I ain't going to do that crap either because, man, that's all nasty stuff. I've made a bunch of that stuff.
I don't like I got to take anything, period, just stay awake. If I had it my way, I wouldn't work at all, and I'd just sit there and dream all day. I'm just kidding, but the only people that have a problem with this is everybody else.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fine. Give me a bed, and I can tell you all kinds of crazy stories that I just did on the astral plane.
Yeah, right. Well, this Tom Campbell guy, you'd really appreciate what he's going on. Yeah, it is a gift. It is a gift, dude. And you can't listen to the world and tell you that it's not, because it is.
Well, though, because I had some, I went through some shit a long time ago. I told you when everything happened.
Mhm.
I don't know, I was beating all kinds of demonic characters on the master plan, but I couldn't keep my ass together. I was afraid to go to sleep. I would wake up, I thought I was being attacked by a sack. I sounded like that's my rage and heart going, like the biggest fucking bone you've ever seen. I'm like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
You know, and then I look down and at the end of my bed, it'd be like this pterodactyl looking that demon thing, and then it like open up the fucking covers, and there's like, you know, 3 little baby pterodactyls, like, hey, this is what we just did. So I'm just like, kick that
Yeah.
motherfucker, and next thing I know, I get thrown up against the wall, and I wake up and I'm in a sweat, and my heart beats. What the fuck was that? So I go to the bathroom, I get there, go to the bathroom, and my fucker's still over there in the corner, and I wake up again, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually awake this time. So I get in my car and drive down the road, I'm still not a fucking awake. I can't wake up.
Yeah, boy, that's tough.
I started smoking a hell of a lot of pot, and I don't drink anymore. I can still do it, like if I want to, I can induce a lucid dream. Like
Yeah.
right now, if I really wanted to, I could.
Mhm.
Me being narcoleptic, I can always go to sleep. It don't matter how much caffeine or anything fucking me. If I want to go to sleep, I can, 30 seconds of me closing my eyes, pretty much I'm gone.
Isn't that crazy how I look at the human race and look at the spectrum of weaknesses. I have a son with cystic fibrosis, he's 31, and he barely stays alive, man.
Pisses me off.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy deal, right?
Fucking bullshit. I mean, again, I'm glad that I kind of have this little thing that nobody else can do. That kind of sucks my tongue about it. And you're like, yeah, you're pretty fucking weird. I'm like, yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah, well, first thing is acknowledge what is and understand what's happening, and then get a checklist to deal with it, right? That's what it doesn't matter what the issue is.
There's going to be a day whenever I'm going to take that seriously and figure out what's really going on over there, because whenever I started studying and having a good old time doing whatever I want, flying around, most people usually fly whenever they feel like they could do something like that. They just fly around. And then I started to think of like, I thought I was in my own, I thought that I was having out-of-body experiences.
Yeah.
I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. I would lay down in the breathing techniques, literally roll out of myself, pop up, see myself still sleeping on the couch, walk back and look at me.
Yeah.
So I put it to the test one day. My cousin went to the store. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to lay down, induce a lucid dream, you know, and dance around the astral plane while you guys were gone. So I did. They left. I get up. I roll out of myself like whatever. And then I go to the door like I want to go outside, and there wasn't a door there. Like there's just a wall where there was normally a door. So I was like, okay, well, my own little personal virtual reality thing, I'll just go through the door. You know, I open doors with my hands, and there's always people attacking me. Sometimes I'm like a superhero, just throw them out of the way.
Yeah,
like
right.
Like a Jedi, you know. It's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, that's pretty cool.
So the
Yeah.
wall was like right there, and I'm just like I'm trying to go through the wall. And there's no door here, and I'm just like
Yeah.
can't get through there.
Yeah.
So I'm wandering around my house, you know, trying to figure out how to get out of this fucking house, and all of a sudden my cousin comes home with his girlfriend, you know, that left and went to the store, and I was like, hey, and I was like, oh wait, I'm over there sleeping, they can't see me. So I run over there, hop back in my body, wake back up, and then they're not home yet. I was like, okay, so I dreamt it. I created a dream, my brain created a dream of them walking home of this exact setting. Or time exists a little differently, and you know, the astral plane. This is my theory of why time is simply the amount of energy it takes to process.
Time is an interesting deal, yeah.
I don't think that we're using our senses whenever we're unconscious, and that's why I think it's quicker. Time happens faster. I think animals see time differently because they got little tiny brains. It doesn't take as much time to process a neuron, as much energy to process the electrons, to decode the vibrations, send it up to the brain, project the image, however much time that takes, or energy.
Well,
it
now
takes
let me
to
ask
do
you a
that.
question.
That's
Did
what takes time.
your
Little
cousin come home with his girlfriend at a later time exactly like you saw it?
I've often thought about that to see, because I didn't come up with the whole theory of time till later on. You know, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, well, apparently I'm just creating weird ass dreams of this whenever I fall asleep. And there is no astral plane. I'm not having out of body experiences. But then over the years, I mean, this was 15, 20 years ago. Over the years, you know, it's just happened over and over and over again. I was like, okay, I'm probably wrong. There's something to it. There's something weird going on. Whenever
Tom
I can
Campbell,
separate
you need
myself
to.
out of myself, like,
You need to. His book is. I haven't read it yet because I've watched all his YouTube and they're just awesome. But it's called My Big Toe, and toe is TOE, Theory of Everything. He
Oh,
does.
nice.
He does a really cool job. Explain. You'd love that book.
Like a lot
And
of Venus, a theory of everything.
Yeah, and you would love how he talks about those particular issues. And by the way, your story is not unknown to me. It hasn't only happened but a few times in my life. But one time, I dreamt that.
Everybody's capable of it.
Yeah, well, I think, and he says that. He says it, and he says one of the easiest things to do. But I literally dreamt that I went uptown and met this guy, and I've never seen him before in my life. I was with my friend, and woke up that morning. My friend Billy Sloan called me. We went up to the cafe. I walked in, and that guy walked in, total stranger, but I knew who he was. I'd seen him, so it was a function of time somehow.
Yeah, and if you ever read anything about remote viewing,
Yeah,
the people who can remote view don't necessarily remote view what's around the corner in the closet or whatever at that specific time.
Tom Campbell.
They might see something that's
Dude, these answers you're looking for.
I was there 5 years ago. I just went back in time to remote view, and that's what I saw.
Yeah.
It was something that was there 10 years. So whenever I think of that and that whole astral plane thing, it's really hard for me because there's some, like I said, there's some shit that I know that is not in that I didn't come across, and because I for a while believed that it's all in our head. Every person you come across eventually, you don't dream of people you don't see. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
come across them at some point. It's a recorder, or essentially just a computer sucking up information. And we got, I think our pineal gland is our seat of the soul. That's our connection, like the Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi
What's
signal.
a computer without a Wi-Fi? It just houses information. It might be able to format your letter, but they
Right.
can do shit.
That's
You know,
right.
You plug the internet, all of a sudden you can ask a question. They can
That's right.
answer you, they can talk to you. Our Wi-Fi is our pineal gland. Otherwise, we're just running around sucking up information. So then I think of the etherical body, the astral plane, and all that stuff. I was like, well, is that in my head? Everything is a perception of our own vibration anyway. We're just decoding the light, turning it into an image.
Well, hold on here just a second. Tom Campbell is a scientist, and he heard about this guy that was doing this. He got his scientist buddy, and they did a 2-year. They built the building and all the tools and did a 2-year study. And then 6 to 8 months into it, he and his buddy were in the same out-of-body experience, and they recorded the same things. And then when they woke up, they came back, and both their stories were exact. They knew that they'd actually been with each other, and they had the evidence to prove it. So this is something he's gone into great depth about. He spends most of his depth explaining how it all came about in the first place. But what makes a hardware and the software work? Right on the computer. Yeah, see that plug-in? Those photons coming in. It's light. Whatever you want to call it. It's all light.
Everything that is in the quantum mechanics is a double slit experiment.
That's right.
The electron knew that it was where. Observing the electron collapsed the wave function. And whenever they shot those things, one at a time through those slits, every time they looked through the right one, the electron went through the right slit. Every time they looked through the left one, the electron went through the left.
Now you know you're talking my language, and let me.
Both at the same time.
I know that's cool.
It knows what we're doing.
That's right.
And I love cymatics too.
Yeah. Well, so here, let me tell you how I got into this. You ready for this? I didn't know any of this crap. But 23 years ago, I started playing blackjack. I was going to show my father why you couldn't beat the game. I had a computer, and I sat down. There you go. I could show you some stuff about blackjack, dude, blow your mind. All right?
That's what he said.
Yeah, because it's not in the books anywhere. I know because I've looked for what's in the book. But I just follow.
The game. I was like, be the dealer.
Yeah. But so far I have a 20-hour pattern that repeats in millions and millions of hands. It's in 20 hours. Your worst case scenario, you're out in 20 hours, and you average 2.5 units an hour. Tell me you've never heard of anything like that before.
2.5 what now?
Units an hour.
2.5 units.
Let's say your table min is $10, right? And then you're going to bet 50 when you play. All right? You're gonna average $125 an hour.
Yeah.
2.5 of those. 2.5 of the 50. Okay? Your worst case scenario is going to take 20 hours. That happens about once every 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere in that range. I mean, I could give you specifics if I pulled up the computer model, but that's about what it is. But that's it. So it's a matter of time. And guess what? It doesn't matter if you play 1 hour one day and play the next hour the next day. because your reality is your reality. Brad and I were talking about it. I said, look, your bag of marbles is your bag of marbles. His bag of marbles, his bag of marbles. So they said, does it matter where you set the table? I said, no. Does it matter if you count cards? I said, no. It matters that you play your bag of marbles exactly like you're going to play them.
Stay consistent.
Stay consistent.
I was like, whatever you do, if you're going to hit on 7, if you're going to hit on 13 or not hit on 13, whatever you do, just stay consistent. And what I was telling them earlier, whenever I was going to my blackjack class, they would give us a stack of $50 and $5 chips. We were only allowed to bet $5 a chip, and we were not allowed to double down, and we weren't allowed to split. And the class essentially was one of us was dealing, and nobody else was plays. You know, you just take turns dealing, and that's how we don't have your blackjack.
What if I told you in my game, you don't?
Within an hour, everybody was winning money. Nobody lost money by betting $5 a hand, not splitting, not double down, never raising the low on your bets. Everybody had a pile of money. I've tried it before since then, and it hasn't worked. But
It doesn't work. You have cycles there too. I can
they're
tell you.
expensive.
I know, but there's not enough cycles and not enough data coming in. But believe it or not, in my game, and it would blow any other player's way. My game, I don't double, and I don't split. But I do take insurance. Okay. And let me tell you why. Insurance. I do take in. Not in. I only take insurance when I have blackjack. Well, that's the only time. And let me tell you why. Because I'm not interested in winning a particular battle. I'm interested in winning the war.
Right.
So if I lose a bunch of bets that are doubled or splits, like I could get 5 8s and then 3 doubles on that, and I lose that battle, I might have to play 40 hours to come back and win the war because those doubles don't come at the same place when I'm playing the game.
Right.
So I'm interested in battle to battle, no funny stuff, battle to battle.
Right.
I don't care if I lose 1 or 2 or 3 battles, but I will win the war.
Before it's over.
That's right. And that's how that works. So the point being is all of this quantum mechanics that I got into, science, all of this, all began back when I thought, holy crap, maybe there's a way to beat this game. And I was using fractals and bifurcations and chaos theory to do it, and I didn't know that's what it was called.
Oh, nice.
I learned that 3 to 5 years into it. I was
That's
just,
awesome whenever you're like, oh, there was a name for it.
I was following, like you, following what was happening to me, not knowing what it was, but following it
All intuition.
until I figured out what it was. And then it became clear that there's all this science going on. But guess what? When you have this ability to, in your case, go out of your body, but in my case, signals coming in, I don't care. I already know that's the answer. This 26 thing here, that's all I had. And that sucker unlocked the entire freaking book.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, but
Math is, I don't know, man. Math is something else.
yeah,
And you know what really pisses me off as far as, you know, I'm a big conspiracy as far as manipulative control and everything. And
Yeah.
what kind of information has been fed to us. When it comes to things like the fire ratio, the gold mean, the Fibonacci sequence, all this shit. I went through 3 years of college, you know, regular, all these years of high school, and I never even came across it. It was like, how do I learn this shit off of fucking Wikipedia? How does YouTube teach me more than I learned in fucking 15, 16
because
years of
they
education?
are con men. The schools don't. Yeah, we were working with my nephew, my grandnephew, Brad's nephew. He's 20 years younger than Brad. Brad's 20 years younger than I am. That's pretty weird. But we're helping him with his online school. They're teaching him stuff about global warming or the rule of 72, and they teach them about their state and federal taxes. They're using them for math. They're conditioning their minds right now as young people.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Most people are getting smarter though. I'm hoping that there's something to the prophecy, the old Blue Star prophecy, the Hopi Indians, the condor and the eagle, all these old things. Look at the end of the 20th century because of the way that the celestial bodies floating out there are not just giant rocks. They actually have a morphic resonance and they're bringing energy towards and away from the planet. So never before have we been closer to Sirius, the star, entering the golden age at the end of all this. And it's a really exciting time. And every last old civilization pointing to this time saying, this is it.
This is it.
The golden age.
You know, and I agree with you, dude. See, most people don't understand it, but I agree with it. And I agree that the entire checklist has been laid out. and there was one guy that laid the entire checklist out,
Oh, yeah.
all right, and gave clarity to it so that you could actually test it.
I agree with that.
That's pretty cool. So, but you're one of the few guys I know that agrees that it's it's not much longer now.
No, it's boiling over. It's going to be proficient. This whole election thing, and this whole influx of female energy. By the way, everybody says the wussification of America and all the careers and everything. I was like, okay, that's really simple. Influx of female energy. We've been a heavily masculine energy for 2,000 years now, and now it's time for the females.
More than that, 6,000 years, right?
Well, exactly. You know, it's the natural balance of everything. It's balancing itself back out through ways of the female energy, and that's why they're good. The Illuminati bullshit people are going to try to stick Hillary Clinton there as president. She shouldn't win. Nobody likes her. Nobody's voting for her, but yet she's still kicking everybody's ass. I'm like, how the fuck is she still winning? I not that one single person that is on her side. Forgive me if you guys are.
No.
But, and I like Bernie, but Bernie's still attached to the same system.
I just look at the Democrats and I say,
30, 40 years.
that's the best you can do. Don't you have somebody 40 years old that's a pretty sharp cookie?
The Trump's going to do one of two things. He's either going to come in there and he's going to lock this place down like his own little personal corporation, which is fine because that's the way it is right now. And maybe if we're on the inside, I mean, he talks about all the tariffs and us being ripped off by the rest of the country.
Well, that's true. That's a
I
fact.
actually believe that. If you can do something about that, good. If people are going to freak out when we get a revolution, fucking A, I'm ready for it. We need a revolution so bad.
We do.
Because it's broken from the bottom up. The whole idea of profit attached to the money. It all exists. It's all because of, you got to have money. You got to have some kind of trade. But the margin of profit that people are getting off the top, it takes $5 to make this, it takes $10 to ship it, it takes $15 to sell it. We're going to sell it for $150 and I get 85% of all that. You're fucking everybody else. And that's what's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
So Trump's going to do one of two things. He's either going to come in there and he's going to be so dumb and so stupid he's going to bankrupt us. And I mean, we're already falling off the charts when it comes to the education, the bullshit education.
Oh, that is BS, yeah.
You want to take in every chance that they get, whether it's local tax, state tax. Get your license. Everybody just keeps on handing out fees for water.
You know what? The government, the government is the mob, and this poor store here can't operate. They got their hand in their pocket. They're giving them fees and what do you call it? Tickets for this and that. They got cops running down, wasting our time, giving us tickets for everything. It's a money. It's a business. A cop is about $500,000 to $1 million a year business, depending on how many tickets he can write. It costs about $250,000 to keep that guy around, or more. Okay, just with his overhead and what you're paying him. It's a business. It's not,
It's all about money.
Yeah.
It's always been about money. That's why I refuse to play on that.
What time is it, Brad?
I'm happy for picking shit.
Well, I know that is, and you know how easy that is. It's a choice, right?
And that's what I told my family that I come from a bunch of redheaded Irish. I was actually not.
Yeah.
I come from, I'm Swede and Indian, but Cherokee. But I come from a whole bunch
This
of
guy's
Irish
Indian.
guys.
This guy's Indian.
Oh yeah. He's still
Yeah.
from Texas. I was
Yeah.
born in Cherokee County.
Yeah,
But,
Cherokee County. He's 1/8. His grandfather was San Ysidro
Luis Sanyo from California.
Oh
from
really?
California. So, and he was out there. You want to talk about a cool experience? He was out there on the plateau in the middle of a it was actually a Navajo reservation, but there was the Hopi Cattle Ranch was right there.
Oh really?
In the middle of nowhere. We're putting up one of these posts we were putting up. He disappears. I don't know where he's at, man, because I'm climbing this 35-foot tower trying to stick this post up on top of it. I don't remember, what was that day that we rode for? Do you remember?
I can't remember now.
But when they came down, he come rolling down off the mountain. This was it. That was his shoe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can't believe nobody's coming.
He had his freaking. He was in a different place, man. I said, "What's wrong, man? What's up?" And then he told me he just had this incredible experience up there, right? I mean, this world is a digital world, man. And if your receptor's up,
I tell you what, that
some
makes
crazy
it-
stuff happens.
It makes it really easy. Whenever I started coming across all this information, I kind of took a step back. I was like, I'm actually kind of amazed. I was
Yeah.
like, it's actually all the way it's all set up, pretty fucking incredible.
It is.
pretty incredible.
It is.
It blows me away. And that's what
You
it's so easy for me
you
see
are
that.
gonna love Tom Campbell, dude. Promise me you'll
look at
watch
it.
that
I'll
guy.
look at it.
You're gonna love that
It's on my
guy.
YouTube history. What I watch every single day is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of hours, just one after another.
Well, do me a
Whatever-
favor.
what I
Did you
write
give him
is
our card?
No, I didn't have a chance yet.
I'm gonna give you a card. You come up with something cool, share it with me. I'll do the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're in the same world I'm at, right?
There's some shit out there, and I'll be damned if I'm not gonna figure it all out.
Well,
I
you
don't
know,
have anything else. You know, I don't have a family. I mean, I got my close, my dad,
Yeah.
my mom, and my sisters and brothers, but I don't have kids. I don't have responsibility. Like I said, what I wanted, I didn't get 10 years ago. Like the way I would have wrote the script, and I'm glad because I wasn't like this before. I was an all-state fucking baseball player, basketball player. You know, I just smoke some weed and party with them girls. Just having a good time. I didn't get the spiritual aspect. It took me realizing that everything that exists out of the physical is temporary. Whether good, bad, it's
Yeah.
always going to be
Yeah.
here and it's going to be gone the next day.
Yeah.
And that the only thing that really sticks is the shit that affects the soul, the spirit itself.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been after. Is when I figure out what sticks.
it's that internal
No.
knowledge, right?
Knowing.
Yeah.
Learning this stuff for some reason, like it actually happened. The day that my girlfriend threw my shit out was I think it was either March, and I think it was April 4th, which would have been the first of the 4 Blood Moon Tetrad.
Yeah,
I think it was like 2012 or 2013.
yeah.
The very first Blood Moon Tetrad.
Uh huh.
I just thought that was a little ironic, and then that's whenever I was like, the best way I can explain this is what I explained to you. I was like, I don't know how to say it. I was like, in an instant, I was like, I changed. Like, I didn't talk to God or anything. I didn't have a conversation, nothing. I was like, but I remember being there, and I remember just an overwhelming sense of just, something came over me. It was like, and I felt like I was given the book, all the secrets, all the world.
Yeah.
And I skimmed through it as fast as I could. The book was taken from me. Ever since then, I'm not learning anything. I'm just remembering.
Yes, that's pretty cool. Now, I had a moment like this. This was about 10 years ago. I saw my mother's back porch, or maybe 15 years ago. I'm not sure when exactly, but a long time. And I'd always felt alone many, many times in the world. But this something, and I was desperately alone. I had a bunch of problems, issues going on. You can't imagine how many issues I had going on. I was taking care of 3 families. Okay, my son and his wife got divorced, and my son went off and did some other stuff. Man, he came back big time. But this is the moment I had them, and then my mother and her household, and then my mother-in-law and her household, and then my household. So it's actually 4 households. Okay, and I was under a lot of pressure, and I was out doing some push-ups and some sit-ups in the morning like I do, and I sat down and I was just so desperately alone, and man, something happened. Dude, like a cone came over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in an instant, that was gone. I've never been alone since. Never felt alone.
That's what I've been
Not
ever
alone
since
in a decision.
Ever since that day, for me, it was more. It seems like, and I've met a lot of people that have had these little awakening experiences where they can snap out of it. And it's funny because it seems first of all, the only thing that could have ever done this to me was the girl at hand, the only girl that I've ever really cared about.
Yeah.
Forgive me for being a little conceited, but you get most any single girl that walks through that door. Forgive me, I'm sorry if it sounds conceited, but all I gotta do is bat my eyes at them and they're fucking mush.
Yeah.
I don't want any of them. There's only one that I want, and it's the one I can't have. Just go figure.
Yeah.
But the only person that could have done this to me and sent me in that downward spiral where I just didn't give a shit anymore was Amy, the ex-girlfriend. And the fact that the one person that I cared about probably more than anybody was the one, the catalyst that seemed so specific, and that my little awakening experience and what I'm doing now is specific towards my awakening, whereas yours is more specific towards your situation. Everybody's little awakening experience.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I talked to God, I saw a vision.
You know how we explain it? Because we're numbers guys, right? Today was Brad's numbers. We were 17 was everywhere. In fact, the number came up on there. There's this whole screen, and the first thing was 17. I just looked up and I see 2 17s right there. There's 17s on my phone. It's 2 17s with 2 6s, which 66. We're riding Route 66 and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, there's a number I don't recognize, so I look it up. There's an algorithm that looks up words and numbers, and I not only look it up, I look it up in the mirror, and it is very specific. And Brad and I are talking, and he said, well, other people just believe you just see other numbers, and I said, no, it's like going down I-35, right? There's I-35 sign, I see it. It's there for everybody if you want it. But if you can't open your mind to it, you're not going to see it, and that's okay, because it's only there if you want to see it. It's like oxygen; it's everywhere, right? And then for you, your particular message is what you'll see, and it doesn't matter what you think about it, as long as it edifies and uplifts you, keeps you pumped up, and says, "Come on, keep going, baby," because life is a battle. Life is a battle, and you need cheerleaders. And it doesn't matter if it's on this side of the earth or on the other side of the veil. Doesn't matter. It's all here pushing us forward. Because, dude, otherwise, why were we given the subroutine to go out and seek out to be happy?
Why were we given the ability to create?
Why would we do anything if we weren't given that freedom, that free will to do that? Right? Now, if you suck at it, you're not going to be happy. Right?
You have a long time to figure it out.
Yeah, that's right.
I see the people that keep on bumping their heads.
Oh, they're like flies hitting the glass wall, man. Bang,
I'm just
bang.
like, put my hand on their shoulder. I'm like, buddy, I've been there. I'm sorry. Good luck. I don't condemn anybody. I would never rob you of your lesson, by the way.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm playing darts and beating the shit out of somebody.
That's funny.
In basketball, it was this week I was playing horseshoes with my uncle and my grandpa, and I was like, I got a new theory of God and time. I kind of spew out, God, is polarity. He's the positive and the negative. He had to create a reference point. If everything came from him as a consciousness, then he would be not just the positive vibration of love, which I kind of thought for a long time. He's also the negative vibration that manifests in the physical. He's everything. So then God is polarity. And my uncle was all like, I started whooping their ass in horseshoes. I'm an awesome horseshoe player. And I was just teasing them like, it's because you guys got a fucked up concept of gravity and God. How do you get to that God?
Yeah.
It was just kind of
Yeah.
the way
Well, the interesting thing that you said, if you decode all the scripture and into their modern words, you realize that Christ is saying the same thing. Because I will tell you what you just said was 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11 through 16, which Brad and I have been talking about continually for the last couple of days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And what it tells you is, right, study to be quiet, do your own business, do good with your own hands so you can help those who come your way. But it doesn't tell you to go put a hat on and start preaching the world your story. Okay? And then it says, and don't worry about those who are still walking in dead works or ignorant or without hope, right? Because I got them covered, which that's exactly what you're saying. You don't carry those burdens. But you know how many people carry those burdens?
Everybody.
Did you see Brad's hand just went up? What's this trip been about for you, Brad? It's releasing those burdens, because everybody comes here thinking they're Jesus and they're the ones supposed to die for their family and friends. No, he already did that.
Nobody's ever
Right? In fact, he said exactly what you said. You're a free man. Be a good person. Go do what you're going to do. And don't pick up those burdens because they're not yours.
I learned a long time ago that I'm an overly nice person. I give anybody like a shirt off. I'm just that kind of person. And I learned a long time ago that nobody's going to measure up to things I do for people. I was like, I'm going to do that to you. Why do you do that to me? I asked that question a lot growing up. Like, I'm going to do that to you. Why do you do that to me? And I started to realize like nobody's ever going to measure up to the standards that you have for yourself. So in this game of evolutionary soul,
Yeah, but let me share on that particular point. And if I use the word Jesus or Christ or whatever, really just call him Bob. Just say he's if he was sitting here, of the four of us, he was for me he was the smartest guy you ever saw. Because here's what he would here's what he'd tell you too. He wouldn't say, love one another as you love yourself. Because you know what he said? I give you a better one. Love one another as I have loved you. Because most people don't know how to love themselves. All right? I don't want somebody that hates themselves trying to love me like they love themselves.
I found out the best thing I can do for anybody is be the best me I can. The black dude come in the other day, he's like, hey man, can I get some money? And he still got the state troopers program, and this trooper comes up and talks to me all the time for hours, right? And I was like, I only had $13 on me. Like, yeah, so I pulled out $5. Like, I give you $5, man. He goes, I'll take that enough. He's like, I gotta go to work, man. I gotta get back. He's like, I was taking you back to my phone and everything. I was like, came back and he's like, you gave that motherfucker $13. I wouldn't have given him shit. I was like, man, I didn't do it for him. I did that shit for me.
You got it. You got it right.
I was like, nobody's ever gonna, Did I even feel bad for giving him the look whenever he asked for more, because when I look at that guy and I'm like, okay, I know that whatever his foundation is, whatever it is, I'm guessing 100% that mine was better. I had a great family. I got people that love me. I always have a place to go. If I fall on my face, they've been there to pick me up every single time. And I see that, and he doesn't have that. I can just guess and know that he doesn't have it. So you can have whatever I got, man. And then the dude that was up here earlier, Eric, he comes up here all the time. He was telling me how he's like, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, he'll give me the shirt off my back. I thought in my head I could have bought a new shirt for $13 and given him this one.
Yeah, but
just joking.
Yeah, but you know what? It's about being happy, dude, and it's a choice, right? And so let me tell you, I studied happiness for more than 10 years. Exactly, technically, how does it work, and how do you get there? Then I realized happiness is really a choice. There's some things you can never be happy with. And then I started looking around and say, well, what happens when you can't be happy? That's where peace comes in. And then there's that peace when this teacher says peace. Now, peace, when he says peace, he says a peace that surpasseth mankind's understanding. And that's when these hearts were coming or touched. Talking to this lady and this man that were here. And about 20 minutes in discussion, this lady tears up and she's just touched. I don't know why. I just know how the Spirit works, right? Okay? Because we're talking about the right kinds of things, good things. The things that you're telling me right now, dude, I mean, I'm just you see on that card, you got that card there, Andy? Turn it over. See that, be a witness? Mm-hmm. And let me ask you, what do you think that means?
Be a witness to other people's happiness, other people's freedom.
That's exactly right, dude. So I'm looking at you, some young guys, 36 years old. By the way, 36 is a pretty interesting number. Because 3 represents your health, 6 represents your wealth, your giving and receiving properly. Okay? That's on the one hand. This whole ride's about, if you saw in the back of my head, it's 3:16. First, seek ye the kingdom of God. Another way to say that is first think right. And in its right hand is your health, 3, right? And in its left hand is wealth. Length of days, riches, and honor. Think right, do right, give and receive right. 3:16. Here's the one, 3:16, all right? Now, it goes way deeper than that, dude. But you can test it. It's science, man. It is mathematical and science. Yeah, we'll take care of that guy. We should probably roll. We can be like 6 o'clock before we get home, which is okay by me. So, what time is it now, Brad?
That's going to be close to 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Cool. What a great guy this guy is. Was that awesome? Did we meet some nice people here tonight? Helping each other around the world overcome these usurpers of our freedom, basically, right? Dude, it's happening. It's a movement. I just think it's a movement worldwide, dude. Mm-hmm. That guy, this kid's awesome. Was he another witness to what we're talking to you about? Mm-hmm. Was that incredible?
That was.
I'm not gonna take your opposition away from you. That ain't my job, man. I'm not gonna take your opportunity to learn from you. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be home about 4:30.
Let's just call it 6.
Let's just call it 6. Take it easy, man. Let's go. I'm warmed up. Hopefully that sweat's all dried, because, man, that was cold out there earlier.
It's going to be about 10 degrees colder now.
Just hope no drunks are on the road, man. We got that little blinking light. We lose that blinking light, man. We're going to be in trouble. My phone ought to be charged.
Yeah.
I should be able to make the whole trip.
Oh, he's gonna be dead now.
Oh, really? That was.
I don't know. They're still on Thursday.
Are we? Oh, okay. Well, cool. All right. Anybody on there?
Oh yeah.
Hey, man. Good night, everybody. We got 33 miles to ride in the dark tonight to get where we're going. It should be pretty crazy. So, we'll see you. We'll see you. Yeah. Shining on that guy over there. Yep.
Periscope? I know that Periscope is not specifically.
It's like a television feed, dude. I didn't realize that he had it on here.
Television feed. It's like just a live feed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just anything. We meet cool people, dude. You are a cool dude.
Thanks.
You really
Thanks.
are. You got your stuff. You got your stuff right. got
Thank
your
you. I
stuff
hope
right.
so, because after 36 years, and I can't get on the. I don't have much to show for it. So
You don't-
all I got's what I know.
Let me tell you what Christ said about that. You know, when you talk about going down the highway life,
Mm-hmm.
he says, I don't have any money, but what I do have, I give you.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what it's about.
I agree.
It's about a relationship. It's about love. Now, let me tell you, at the end of, you have $1 billion. Now you have $1 trillion. Now you have $1 trillion. What's at the end of everything?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of everything. Okay, you hate somebody. You hate them for 1 billion years. Now another billion. If you put in X as everything, and then you go at the end of it, when you're sick of it, what's at the end of it? This thing called love. It's just a thing called love, man. Why waste your time with any of this other nonsense? Let's just get to it and let's love one another.
And I think most people would. I think people are pretty reactionary. I think when it comes to manipulative, the constant. You can do one of two things. You can either grow or you can be in defense, fight or flight. And I think I saw this documentary of this guy. He says the blood stays in the viscera. He goes, and that's where you grow. He's all like, everything's going on in here, so that's where you grow. He goes, but in this constant life of fight or flight, he's all like constant drama 24/7 from the news, from everything. He goes, your blood will leave the viscera and go out to the extremities. He goes, you're ready to fight. He goes, you're ready to do whatever. He goes, but there's no room for growth. He goes, so in this constant world where we're in constant defense, he goes, because you got to be in defense sometimes. You don't want to become food for something else. He goes, in this constant defense, he's like, nobody's growing. Everybody. That's why I'm never. That's why my cousin says, he goes, if I had a girl, because we watched some shows together, he goes, if I didn't have a girlfriend, he goes, I'd be over there, with you, learning all this shit. He goes, but this is my trade-off. He goes, I get that. He goes, but me, no kids, never married, and all I have is time. All I have is time to live for. My favorite verse, Christ verse, is the one from St. Thomas. It says, what you bring forth from inside you will surely will save you. What you do not bring forth from inside you will surely destroy you. And I was like, that's probably one of my favorite quotes of all time.
That's a good one.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I keep that one with me in my head all the time.
The funny thing is truth will set you free, but people don't know what truth is. So,
Right.
Yeah, take time to figure out what truth is.
Yeah, you'll start to realize that what you thought was the truth is
And
nowhere
it
near
starts
it.
by listening here.
Mm-hmm. It's all on the
Because
inside.
no man's going to be able to tell you that truth. You're going to have to listen here. And then you're going to have to go out and technically do what you need to do. That's the even balance, right?
Yeah.
So here it's free, but over here it's balanced out with that stuff that has a fee, right?
Right.
So you have this even balance. But if you put it all over here, boom, you see this cross here,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you cross into the spectrum, right? Up here is experience. Over here is grace. You do your best. The Spirit does the rest. God does the rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Like parents, if you're their children, if they love you. You do your best, they'll try to do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But when they fall short, who's got their back? Well, that says this guy's got your back. Now, over here on this side is the reward.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, happiness and joy is what you see, but when you fall short, if you understand this, then you understand that peace is what you'll have.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. It's fixed. Now, when you walk up through here and you know how to operate, and you cross up through this X, and you go up, you got one arm with a gear on it and one on the other, and you start to go. How do you climb that?
Mm-hmm.
You go up this way in even balance. One is business, one is love.
Mm-hmm.
You got to turn those gears at the same time. You got to work hard and keep growing and pushing out. But if you put it all into business, you ground out. Now you'll still have peace, but you're not going to be happy because you don't have an even balance. But if you put it all in love, you'll ground out. And peace is still there, and grace is still there. But you've got to keep it in an even balance and go up.
You can't get too high.
And then
can't
as
get
you
too low.
keep going, you're moving from light, the bullet, to enlightenment, the full cartridge. You keep going, and where that ends, I think is maybe unending. But when you have that even balance, and you address what we call Caesar's world, right? That nonsensical fear, greed, exclusivity, guilt, security, right? When we address that with faith and generosity and edifying and uplifting others and grace and sacrifice, see? See, they're exact opposites, right? Then you get the reward. And you can't do that without climbing here and here and here and here and here. As you move towards your purpose, that purpose can't just be a word. You have to understand what that is in your life. You're going to move forward. Your story right now, you could set a lot of people free with just simply teaching them not to pick up burdens that are not theirs.
I tell everybody I can. Like, you know what? I say it all the time. I was like, you know, you're not judged by the things that happen to you. I was like, good things and bad things happen to everybody. I was like, that's not how you're judged. It's like how you're judged is how you react to situations. I was like, are you going to react in terms of fear, or are you going to react in terms of love? And I said it before that I think the outcomes have been determined, and that choice, our freedom of choice, is only between handling a situation in either fear or love.
Well, let me tell you these 4 things. Just know that when you see one word, you always have 4 others. From fear, you want to move out of fear, move through faith. It gives you a foundation that'll leave you fulfilled. Okay? I love this guy. His mind is sharp. He's fast. He's quick, and he's pushed the limits. And at 36 years old, he's got a handle on it. You know, he can sharpen up a couple of edges, but dude, his gift of sharing with people not to pick up weights that are not theirs. Because people try to, here's my weight, here, pick up my weight for me. You can't do that. You leave them in a state of damnation. They can't grow. Right? I mean, it was brilliant on his part.
That's why see his friend over there playing the
Sure.
long tennis.
I'm really
Not gonna
sold.
take that wrong.
I'm really sold now that is his friend. At first, as he's buying those lotto tickets or those scratch up, I'm going, geez, help that guy, man. I mean, that PTSD stuff he might have a freak out there and buying $100 a day or something. You don't know. But I'm convinced now that guy, he's friends with him because that guy there, he's a man of service. And there is no BS about him, man. He's tuned in on his own channel, and it's loud and clear. If I'd say in aviation, it's 5 by 5.
Yeah. More than anybody we've met.
Oh yeah, yeah. What a great kid, man. We need to spool up and get going or talk ourselves and wait until the sun comes up and it's a little warmer. We just sleep right here tonight. No, because dude, we are going to make 110 miles today. It's actually 112 miles. It's actually 113 miles because it's 80 to here and another 33. That's 113.
Yeah.
We got 33 miles. That young man that was in here was 33. We're at exit 33. That's Tina's numbers all across the board. The tester. You gotta get a picture of him shoving that pizza in his face. What a, you know. And he realizes the freedom that he has.
That's the amazing thing.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything since I got here. I talk way too much.
No, you don't, dude.
Half of hope comes up here.
No, because you see that witness there.
Just to BS.
No, I'm just, I can see that. I can see that.
Like I can get some stuff
But
done.
every story you said, I can tell you,
in the ancient words what they used to say. Really simple. Okay? And I got 8 kids and 14 grandkids.
Wow. 8 kids? Man, I'm 36 with none.
I'm 57 with 8. My youngest is 21. Oldest is 36.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
so
37.
many kids. Wow.
All boys, but
No wonder you're biking across the nation. You guys broke free.
Yeah,
finally
you know
finally
why?
broke free.
because I want my kids to have a chance to be happy.
Uh-huh.
I want them to have a good checklist. I don't need all the BS. I don't want them to be like, in your case, you have the intelligence to work through the internet and figure out what's what. But I don't want to leave them out there to some random guru out there that, stands for GURU.
Yeah, yeah,
You
right.
know? I mean, like, look, who was that? That was in the show. What's his name? Oh, it was Hank or Party On. Who are those guys?
Oh, Bill and Ted.
Not Bill and Ted.
Oh, Before the-
Garth.
yeah.
Garth.
Wayne's
Wayne and
World
Garth. Wayne and Garth.
Yeah, the next one he did where he's the guru, GURU. I mean, it's just
I don't know
it's
about.
ridiculous.
I remember now.
Funny.
Old
But,
Saturday Night Live.
because not everybody, as you know,
Austin Powers.
yeah. So Vincent and Blanc, they smoking a
Martin
paint. And see, there's no pleasing you then. I love that show.
Dude, that,
Yeah.
you're gonna make me want to go back and watch those. Those are ridiculously funny,
They are
man.
ridiculously funny. They cracked me up, man. They cracked
He
me
did
up.
really incredible. Like on Saturday Night Live, I was like, yeah, he's okay. Some of the other movies, I was like, yeah, he's all right. I like him. I don't not like anybody, but he's all right. And then the whole Austin Powers thing,
Yeah, get in my
Unreal.
baby. My belly.
In my
Fat
belly.
bastards.
I'm high on the food chain.
Yeah. Funny, we were talking to Saturday Night Live. We were watching the Amazing Gay Duo last night. We watched about 10
Ambiguously
episodes.
gay.
Oh, man,
Those are
they
so wrong.
So funny. Oh my gosh, we laughed.
Ace and Gary.
Ace and
so
Gary.
Gary.
Yeah.
I remember that from back. I used to watch Saturday
He's
Night
just-
Live a
they're-
lot.
The bad guys are behind the wall there. He says, and they got their, of course, their car,
Their car.
their dildo car, whatever that is. And they're coming along, and he goes, "Let's hit him in the dumpster." And, it's a dumpster outside the building, and they bang into it 4 or 5 times.
Can't quite get it
They just
back and forth.
Can't quite get it. Says, "Put in vibration mode, Gary." Oh, we just laughed. It was so funny. But
I remember that show. Saturday TV Funhouse.
Yeah,
TV
that's
Funhouse.
it.
yeah, but you know what? I have a niece who all her kids. She's like 30, I think. She might be 32 or so. Dina's daughter that raised her kids up on Leave It to Beaver and these old shows because of their values, and her kids are just precious. They love those shows,
Yeah.
and they're solid people.
That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Andy Griffith and
Andy Griffith. Yeah.
I remember watching. What was my favorite? Mr. Ed.
Yeah,
I
Mr.
love it when animals talk.
Of
I'm
course.
sorry. You want to make animals talk in a movie? You got me. I want to watch it every time. I'm a sucker.
Yeah. That's
Make the
right.
animals talk and I'm happy.
Yeah. And Gilligan's Island.
Mhm.
I mean, it's crazy stuff.
I don't allow myself to watch too much TV these days, but there's a show that's really hard for me not to watch. I just so fascinated by it. It's Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
I love Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. I don't know if I've seen that one.
I started running back in the 60s, and it ran all the way up until about 89.
BBC.
Oh,
He's a time traveler. He's an alien that
oh,
It's in English.
that comes from
that's pretty cool.
a line of time travelers,
Yeah.
and he loves humans. He picks up humans as his companions and takes off and takes them away and says, "Where do you want to go?" Anytime he goes, she's like, well, "What do you mean?" He goes, He's like, "It's a time machine." He goes, "Anywhere in time and space. Anything you want to go,
Is that
anywhere."
Netflix?
Do
Is that
what?
on Netflix?
It's BBC.
BBC.
Yeah, they're on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
But I guess he doesn't. He has 2 hearts. He can die, but he regenerates. So whenever he gets a hand cut off, he can regenerate. If you get your hand cut off, and I'm the doctor. That's what they call him, the doctor. And I can give you some of my regeneration and get your hand back. But eventually that regeneration runs out. And then this next incarnation. I think there's 13 incarnations that they're given by the Time Lords. Give each person 13 incarnations. and I think we're at the 11th Doctor. The first one was back in the 60s, and now we're at the 11th or the 12th Doctor. So eventually we're going to need a
A
new
lot of
incarnation.
episodes, right? How many years of episodes?
It ran from 68, I think, or 69 to 89, and then it was
Wow,
off.
that's a lot.
It was off until 96. They tried to bring it back in 96, and it failed miserably. And they tried to bring it back again in like 05, and it's been running ever since 05 again.
Remember the show, the old black and white time tunnel?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you're not talking about the Twilight Zone?
It's called Time Tunnel.
Oh, Time Tunnel? No.
The
I can remember the whole-
Twilight Zone had all these different episodes of different situations, but the Time Tunnel, they would go, two guys would go following through the spiral hill.
Mm-hmm.
The Time Tunnel, the Twilight Zone is awesome, but the remake of that was called Outer Limits. You ever
Oh,
seen it?
yeah.
I love the Outer Limits, man. It's pretty freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
As a
I've never
great
seen it, but
show.
I know what show you're talking
Yeah,
about.
man,
Oh.
I don't know how many episodes. There's a bunch of them. They're
I
pretty
try not to
cool.
watch too much TV now because I'm convinced I know what TV is. I just
Yeah.
subconscious is obsessed with shapes and colors. That's why every alien or paranormal movie is always going to have those ominous blue tones. Every sexual movie is going to always be red. Every comedy is always going to be like
Yellow.
the happy colors.
Yellow.
And as far as the Illuminati and all the shapes that they're doing all over the place, the subconscious is obsessed with shapes and colors, and that's how people get reactionary. I mean, just an example.
Well,
I
it's
was talking.
just ones and zeros going in, right? And
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
got to be careful what ones and zeros are coming in. at.
Exactly, thoughts manifest.
Yeah, that's right.
I was talking to this a girlfriend of mine, not a girlfriend, but a girlfriend friend. I was like, how's your day going? I think you're recording me just eating with my mouth open.
Is it even recording? What is it?
It's
just Periscope, right?
I'm like, well, what are you doing? And she's all like, I had a rough day. Baby daddy's house got kicked in. Baby got taken away. This and this and that. And I was like, later on in the conversation, I was like, so what have you been doing all day? And she's like, oh, I just watched this Marathon of Cops. And I'm like,
Marathon of Cops?
I was like, you realize that law of attraction brings you whatever your fucked up thoughts are. I was like, so if you're thinking fucked up shit all the time, then it's the universe's job to respond to what you're thinking. You have to put it out there first. You have to be happy and put the happiness, have the gratitude. That's why they say people who always get what they want. You know why rich people always get more money? It's because they've already set the tone and the emotion tied to them getting the money. So the momentum is already created. That's how easy it is for them to come to them. People that are always left wanting stuff, I want this, I want more money, I want to be happy, you're always going to be left being happy because your heart, the morphic resonance, the magnetic whatever coming out from your heart is what the universe has to respond to. So if you're always wanting, if you're always needing, that's what the universe is respond to. So find a way to be happy first, and then whenever you get that, and then the universe is forced to respond to your happiness. It's already there, and then
I
it just
jokingly call
plugs
that,
right in.
Since this is Brad, I jokingly call it, you got to have a good gratitude. Because his gratitude is this. See it.
I feel so bad for
believe it.
pessimists because pessimists are like, you're not giving yourself a chance, man.
Yeah, that's right. But see it, believe it. If you can't see, you just got to project it, right? And then you got to believe it, and then you've got to do something.
Belief is the
You
key.
just got to move. You got to move into it, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have a good gratitude.
Gratitude.
And with that, we better get on our bikes and get to pedaling 33 more miles.
Oh, now I don't know why you guys are staying around so long. Who the fuck wants to do that? You psychos.
You psychos.